Hey guys, welcome to the video about the St. Louis Hotel. And you might be wondering why a hotel is bloody. And this one is a little more historical of a reason than some of the things we're going to be doing in this class. So just to give you a little background, the St. Louis Hotel was built in the French Quarter in 1838. It was, when it was built, and kind of still is, the fanciest, the most expensive hotel in New Orleans. This was like where the cream of the crop, the richest people would come to stay in New Orleans. They would take the steamboats down the Mississippi. They would stay at the St. Louis Hotel. It's at the corner of St. Louis and Charter Street in the French Quarter, right next to where the courthouse is today. So why is a hotel bloody? The St. Louis Hotel was the home of the largest slave auction in the world at its time. Thousands and thousands and thousands of slaves were brought to the city of New Orleans, either on ships or down the Mississippi River on steamboats or all kinds of other ways, but everyone was funneled in through New Orleans, and then they would be bought and sold out to all kinds of other places in the deep South. So slavery is really the bloodiest of the things that we're going to see. If you look at like Madame Lalaury's house, who you may have watched the video for already, and if you haven't, you will soon. But slavery was just a legalized version of torture. Slave owners had complete power over their property and could do whatever violent, bloody things they wanted. That often meant either abusing someone, so they would end up with scars like this, and that would take the place of something like this, or they could do literally whatever they wanted. So if they wanted to punish a slave in any way that they felt, they could. So slave auctions were the gateway to people being able to be punished, people being able to be abused by someone else under the law. So it's really the place where the most violent, the bloodiest things were coming from. They didn't necessarily happen there, but that was what allowed those things to happen. So you see all kinds of punishment happening, and oftentimes it was for absolutely nothing. It could be, if this man is the owner of the slave, he could decide at any point anything that he wanted to do. The slave wouldn't have had to do anything wrong because he wasn't being treated as a person. He was being treated as that man's property. So really, really, really the bloodiest, the most disgusting part of American history. So then the hotel was the fanciest hotel in the city of New Orleans. It had these beautiful staircases that went up like that. You had this center rotunda right here with the vaulted ceiling and all the paintings and everything. And this was actually where the slave auctions would take place. But then after slavery was ended by Abraham Lincoln in the American Civil War, then you had the hotel fall into disrepair and become uglier and uglier and uglier because it was no longer making the money it had before, because they weren't being able to buy and sell slaves at the St. Louis Hotel. So it kind of fell apart. And it started to look like this. It started to look decrepit. And the uglier it got, the fewer people would come there. They weren't getting anybody buying and selling slaves. They weren't getting people to stay there. So it turned into really a relic of what it used to be. Now today, however, it was rebuilt and it is enormous and absolutely beautiful. There's even a pool on the rooftop that you can't see, but if you Google for pictures of it, you can absolutely find it. But it's now back to being the fanciest hotel in the city of New Orleans, or one of them, maybe not the top one, but definitely up there. However, most of the people who stay at that hotel have no idea that where they are sleeping is really one of the bloodiest places in in the city, if not the entire country. Right? You've got people who just come and they don't know anything about the history of our city. They don't know anything about all the really, really terrible things that happen in some places. And they go and they see a beautiful hotel with a pool on the top and gorgeous marble staircases, and they think that they're just in the lap of luxury and don't think about the history of what actually happened there. So it's our job as historians and as people who live in New Orleans to know these things and to spread that history to people who don't know them. So if you're ever in the French Quarter and you know somebody who doesn't know the history about that, share what you know with them so that they can have those ideas and they really understand where these things are coming from.